Om Shanti, everyone. Okay, I think I muted all of you. Just a moment. Okay. So Om
Om
Shanti.
Shanti.
Om Shanti. Vinu
Om
Ben, Om
Shanti
Shanti.
Vinoben.
Om
Om
Shanti.
Shanti.
Om Shanti, Vinuben. Jai Shri
Om
Ben.
Shanti. Om Shanti.
Jai Shri Ben is all smiling.
Om Shanti.
Shri Ben, he's always smiling anyway.
He's always smiling like you.
I guess that's why we sort of connected with each other quickly.
Yeah, I think his smile is contagious.
That is contagious. But, today I just remembered one joke that I heard in a class. You know, it was in a Hindi. Let me see if there's any non-Hindi walas here. Okay, anyways, I'll just say in Hindi. In English. So the professor was teaching,
Uh-huh.
and one of the student in front of him dozed off, and then the professor told the classmate that was sitting beside him to wake him up, unko उठाओ. And then the classmate said, मैं क्यों उठाऊं, आपने उनको सुला दिया.
That was really good one.
So I'll try my best not to put you to sleep.
You never do. You are so like contagious. That's what I'm saying. Like Jai Shri Ben too, contagious.
So that's
Everything you guys do, we really appreciate it.
it's just really God works different ways to reach out to us. Baba can use anyone to come into our lives and give us exactly what we are looking for. It could be coming from a person, it could be coming from a situation, but really, do you really feel that God is watching you?
Yes. And that's why we are in contact with you, Jai Shri Ben, and everybody like that. The whole group. Yes.
And
Definitely.
do you also believe that we attract people with our energy, like-minded energy?
Yeah. Totally believe in it.
So then all of us are actually attracting each other. So we have similar energies, right?
I don't agree on that one because you guys offer so much compared to me. So
we'll look more into.
Jai Shri, huh?
We will.
Don't ever put yourself down, my friend.
You always say that. That's nice of you.
Yeah, but that is the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So today, what we will do before we go into our class, we will do our meditation first, and then we'll invite our favorite doctors.
Right.
Doctors, I think by now all of you got a hang on with them being with us. So we will look into the class after our meditation. So I'm going to mute all of you, and then we'll go into our meditation. So let me sit still and sit down quietly. And if there is something you need to do, you can take care of it later. This moment is especially just for you, nothing else. And just for a few moments, let us reflect back our life. Everything that you have experienced, you have encountered in this life, from your childhood until now. It has shaped you. It has created a personality within you, a lot of learnings and experiences. And ask yourself this question now. What is it that you truly, deeply accept and love about yourself? One nature or any nature about you that you truly have pure pride of. And why do you like that nature of yours? What does that nature of yours make you feel? Has there ever been in your life where you tried to compromise with the nature because of what people have said about it? Have you tried stop being kind or patient or tolerance just because someone could have said that this is a weakness within you? If you are not expressing that nature that is deeply within you, and if you stop being that, then who are you actually? What is your identity? Now, every one of you, take your right hand and put on your heart and tell to yourself, I love you. I truly love you the way you are. I accept you the way you are. You are special. You are precious. You are unique. And that is why I'm even special to God. Because I have acquired different experiences throughout my life that makes me very different from others. And God honors that part of me. And God wants me to show the world what I have learned and how I can use my experiences to reach many people. God sees that potential in me, and God knows that I can do it. God trusts me, and He's always protecting and supporting me in ways that I can't even imagine. That He's there. He's there. Om Shanti. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om
Om
Shanti.
Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
So
This was so peaceful. I fell asleep like.
that's okay. Meditation can awaken
Om
someone,
Shanti.
it can put someone to sleep. It's still okay.
No, it was beautiful.
It's the feeling is there's a lot of euphoria feeling when we truly understand that whatever we've gone through, whatever we have done, was actually worth it. Any experiences that we've had in our life, at that time it may seem unreasonable or unnecessary. Now, when you look back, it was truly necessary to create who you are today. And when I come to that understanding, when what we say, the penny drops. Have you heard that saying, the penny drops? The aha moment that yes, I understand now. I had to go through that to become this today. Then you would see a lot of the disturbances in your mind would reduce so much because you arrived to a point of understanding. So today I'm gonna invite now our doctors here. I think we've gone across more than just doctors, they've become our family. So we are inviting our family here, Shwetangpai, Kanishtaban, welcome. Before we begin, there is a good news that we can share with the family. The good news is our Kanishtaban is officially declared American citizen today.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
congratulations.
Congratulations.
God wants her to stay in this land
Congratulations.
to do further service. Her participation in service is not over, but actually it's beginning today. A new chapter begins for her today. And our Shwetang Pai, he's already here. He's always with us. And there's a lot of service we're going to go do together, right?
Oh, sure. Thank you, Vinuben. It's a pleasure being in the company of you and all these beautiful people who have joined today.
We
Thank
all
you.
are, there's so much to serve on this land. So after this class, it's not the over, but actually it's the real beginning starts now, right? Starts from today.
For sure.
So today will be the last class for the topic of addiction, the theme that we had, that we have for this month of March. We'll start a new theme starting next week in April. And so today's class is all about just wrapping up what we have heard throughout the month in all the different classes. And today's topic is all about de-addiction methods, step-by-step methods, how to overcome any form of addiction. Could be any number of addictions, but how can we overcome that? How can we face it? Again, it's a step-by-step process. It's a gradual process. So let's not look for an overnight miracle. But in another word for miracle is hard work. Let's put it that way. Another word for miracle is hard work. And you will definitely see the result. So I'm going to actually have discussed with them some points. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring up that slide, and then I'm going to ask them to share these points. Are you able to see?
Yes.
On blank. Okay. So this is visible, right, for everyone?
Yes.
So these were some of the points that we discussed with the phone, and we felt these were some best methods, solutions that we can focus. So first is meditation. To reflect on my life means to find out why I started using these substances or indulging in these behaviors, connecting with the inner beautiful self and with God, and learning to forgive and accept the self. So, Kanishta Ben or Shwetang Pai, could you explain, elaborate further on this?
Yeah.
I think and this is so beautiful, the meditation that you conducted in the beginning about accepting the self, loving the self, all the affirmations. So that is such a good way to begin the day, actually. Because if we start our day with accepting ourselves and filling ourselves with love, then the entire day passes by in such a beautiful way. So I would say that meditation is that tool that really helps us to go within and see the inner beauty, like you have said here, to reflect. So it's self-reflection. And in that reflection process, it's like a dialogue and creating that relationship with the self. Now, we had talked about our identity in the previous sessions, who we are. That is so important to understand, that we are not what we see with our physical eyes, but we are what is invisible. And that invisible self is the beautiful self, that lovely self. And that is what needs appreciation. And if we start that appreciation on a regular basis, then it becomes very easy to fill that emptiness that usually these addicts, they feel that kind of emptiness. We have talked about why they start using these substances. The reason being that there is some kind of inadequacy, some kind of inner emptiness some kind of void that they feel. And this is the reason they depend on these external things. But if they start their day with this kind of dialogue, appreciating themselves, accepting themselves, forgiving them whatever they did, forgiving themselves, and most importantly, connecting with God, who is the ocean of forgiveness, ocean of love. So that ultimate connection will really help to always feel full, always feel contented from inside. And when there is inner contentment, then there is no need to depend upon any kind of, external things. Yeah.
It's to wrap up what Kanishtaben have said. Really, meditation invokes our self-respect, right? Do you think, Kanishtaben?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we forget to respect ourselves because of this identity crisis, because we forget ourselves. And if we don't remember who we are, then it's hard to give respect to ourselves. First of all, it's very important to be aware. Meditation is about being aware of who we truly are. So that awareness has to be there. And when we start our day with this awareness, asking the self, who am I? And then appreciating the self. So that is how we can start our day and give respect to ourselves. So the self-awareness has to be there. And that is why I think we talked about traffic control also in the sessions, that every hour for a minute, just to stop and remind yourself who you are. You are a being of light. You're a peaceful being. You're a happy being. All those qualities, it's very important to remember and then to experience. First comes awareness, and then we start to feel. We create a thought, and then we feel it. And when we feel, then we become really, we feel and we start experiencing that inner fullness. So that's very important. And then the respect, that respect comes with that.
So Vinuben, how do you practice? I'm sure everyone would love to know. I would love to know too. What do you do when you wake up in the morning? How do you start your day? How do you reflect on all of these things that you're sharing? And how have you learned over time to forgive yourself and accept yourself?
I think over time, I used to be very critical, maybe very judgmental with myself, maybe because one is having a perfectionist nature, and second is, this path is actually quite high. It's a very high destination, and a lot of the principles and the teachings that we have, it's like making us, perfect. So sometimes when I see myself, certain weaknesses, when I do something, then I become very judgmental of myself. I say, oh, you shouldn't be doing this or you shouldn't be doing that. And I used to just self-correct. And that has, I would definitely say, lowered my self-esteem, my self-confidence. And that was clearly, then it becomes very visible in the expectations that I started having on people. And I think over a time, what I realized, when I say the penny drop, for me, what I came to realization was that it is good to be, wanting to be perfect. It's nothing wrong about that. And I'd always say, there's nothing wrong about wanting things to happen in the perfect way. But then I also realized that for me to reach there is first for me to say, okay, I made this mistake, so now I know one wrong path. Sometimes before we find the right way, we end up making a few choices, and then we realize, okay, that was not the right choice. So now I know, now I learn. But I also started accepting. I said, these weaknesses are erupting from me to say goodbye to me. So let it come, let it emerge. And the beauty is when I allow it to emerge, the intensity reduces. When I was suppressing it, the intensity increased. But now when I'm giving it permission, okay, it's okay. You're coming to say goodbye to me. It's okay. You can come. And then all of a sudden it goes, so many ways. I mean, so many, I would say, different ways of that I used to think low about me. Now, as it's coming up, I'm actually allowing it. I say, it's okay. You're coming to say goodbye. And then I see it's going, it's going, it's going. Little, it's going. So I've sort of thought to myself, I do a lot of self-talk to me, and I do a lot of conversation with God, connecting with God. And I keep telling myself that there is no need to be surprised if something comes up within you. It is coming to say goodbye. It is coming to say goodbye. So I keep reminding myself, don't be surprised. Don't be shocked. It's okay. Let it come out. So I guess I've taught myself to accept and to have more patience myself. So,
To be a BK is already a big devotion you are doing anyways. It's easy to do what you're doing at all. So that's pretty good. We are all overwhelmed with that. Thank you.
we are all doing our real best in our life. So let me go to the second slide. Creativity. Use it as a source of pleasure and appreciating everything in my life. And also, scientifically speaking, it also releases dopamine. We call happy hormones. So, Vetangbai, would you like to explain? Jeshriben is already, she's showing how happy hormones feel like. Stress.
No, I was just telling my husband that I did my gardening and put all my parts in a nice way and made me so happy today because that creativity, I don't need to worry about anybody's appreciation. I just get it myself. Thank you.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's awesome. That's awesome. But again, I would love to hear from you how you allow things to happen around you that would help you release dopamine for yourself, and how do you find really the pleasure that life has in store for all of us, or for you rather. Yeah, we would love to hear from you.
Wow, the ball is getting bounced to me today. Yeah.
So we would love to hear from you, because in the last two sessions, we didn't hear much from you. It was us speaking. We'd love to hear what you do and how you handle these things in your life.
Okay. So for me, actually, I'm a person who I can't really fix to routine. I'm a person who wants newness. I get bored quickly if I follow routines. I mean, there are certain principles I have that I follow, but apart from these principles, I also need newness. So I need something to look forward. So I realized that I used to feel so bad, like, why can't you do this? And why are you getting bored quickly and you're getting tired and you're losing enthusiasm? I used to just question myself. Everybody seems going okay and fine, we know. Why are you losing your enthusiasm? And then I realized, well, I guess it's a good way. It's a good thing, because then that's teaching me, that's prompting me to be more actively looking for something new, and then how I could also then share that newness with others. I love cooking. I love baking. I always keep inventing something, trying something. And then I test it on students. to see if they like it. And they like it, and then they'll ask, well, what is the ingredients? And I'll say, well, that's the secret. If you want to taste it, then you can come here. But anyhow, then later I would tell them, we have like cooking classes online. Another form is I like to read. I'm very curious about the scientific field, what is happening. So I read research, just finding something new and how to incorporate that in teaching, the spiritual classes. Because for some people, they're very simple-minded. You share with them, they understand. For some people, they need evidences, they need on a scientific level. So when you have materials, you're able to share. So in both ways, just keeping myself equipped, what's happening in the scientific arena, and then also what's happening within me. And I remember Dadi Janki, she left body last year. She was 104. And I've been seeing her since I was 4 years old. So I know her. She's quite, very deep and very close to my heart. I remember Dadi Janki, this incident happened when I was 10. And, she was on stage and she was giving gifts. So it was my turn. And I went up on stage, and when I was taking gifts from her, in my mind, I was telling her silently, we were just looking at each other's eyes, and silently in my mind, I was telling her that, Dadi, I want to be courageous like you. And she actually picked up my thoughts, and she shook her head. And Dadi's way of loving you, or she liked to always do this. It's her way of doing. So she was doing. So others, they thought, oh, Dadi was showing her affection or her love to me. But for me, I knew it was just between me and Dadi that we got each other's thoughts. And we got it, and we didn't have to say it in words. We both just spoke through our eyes. And I think I forgot really about that idea or that promise or that vision that I had for me. And then I, grew up again, facing just different challenges in different stages of my life. And now I look back, one time I remember she just came in my mind, just her vision appeared. And I felt she was just made me to recollect back all my past memories. And she said, you faced this, you did this, you did this, you did this. Why do you think you're not courageous? Maybe because my idea of being courageous was, being able to speak out, being able to share. But Dadi said, but no, being courageous is also a silent power, willpower. And you have that. And that penny dropped for me. I said, wow. So when I meditate, I don't always just have one way of meditation. Sometimes I just imagine I'm being at different places where I want to be. Sometimes I visualize doing a particular service. Like for me, I don't know why, but I have this deep urge to serve the police. For many years, especially this year, I've told myself I am gonna do this service. I am. Every day I visualize myself, I'm standing on stage, and I'm standing in the police academy, and all the police are seated in front of me. And I'm just giving all of them drishti, just looking at them and taking them into deep meditation. And I keep envisioning that, and it's so real, like they're right in front of me. So whatever I feel deep inside I want to do, I envision that I'm already there. I envision right in front of me. I'm looking at their eyes. They are looking at me, and I'm just guiding them, sharing. So just different ways how I make my meditation in a creative way. some creative activities. I like coloring. Coloring actually definitely brings me into concentration. Sometimes when I'm coloring, I'm listening to some particular spiritual classes. And when I'm actually coloring, my tuning is so deep into that class. I can remember every points that were shared in the class. I do that. Talk to people over the phone. And then there was just some students, they want to take me for walks. I go with them. It's because some people, they want to talk, but they don't want to be indoors in the house. They say, can we go for a walk? I want to talk. I said, okay. So we go for 1 hour, 2 hour walks. They are able to share their feelings. We are able to experience fresh air. So this is just different ways I keep my, not boredom is such a, I've realized it's such a dangerous place to be. Boredom is such a dangerous place because you eventually you lose hope, feelings, you come to a standstill, a feeling of numbness, nothing matters anymore, nothing feels good anymore. So it's so important we don't arrive to that. And when we feel we are getting bored, then we have to do something. Yeah.
That
How
was
about you?
beautiful. Yeah, thank you for sharing all this.
How
Beautiful.
about you? You can try.
Yeah, yeah, no, I totally agree with you. These are wonderful ways of bringing that dopamine release that we want in our brains and bring back happiness in our lives. What I am seeing and what I have realized over the past many years of this practice of Raj Yoga is that many times we are seeking pleasure or happiness or the dopamine release in the physical world, if you will, or the physical dimension of our existence. But like I think we had talked about it in the previous session, that everything in this physical dimension is limited. And in a way, it follows the law of marginal returns. So if I find pleasure in something physical with this much of effort, tomorrow I'll need this much of effort for the same degree of pleasure. And so what Raj Yoga is kind of helping us understand that we can experience the highest level of pleasure if we move away from the pleasure that we seek or we receive from our senses. In other words, super sensuous pleasure. That is when we are in the total state of soul consciousness. That I am a soul, nothing but a soul, and there is no body. In that state, because only in that state really can I connect to God, to the highest source of energy. And in that connection, I can experience God's love, God's happiness, God's acceptance, God's peace, God's power.
And this relationship, we can make it very creative. The experience of soul consciousness and God consciousness, we can make it very creative. It is said, even, people say that we are actually hardwired. Our brain is hardwired to be creative. And when there is no creativity, that leads to boredom, like you said, and that boredom then leads to addiction. So it's very important to emerge the creativity from inside. And so when we meditate and when we connect to the soul that we are, then we are able to express that creativity from inside.
Very good. Yeah, what I'm finding that whenever I'm trying to find that pleasure, the creativity in the physical dimension of my existence, it is not possible for that thing to be available for me all the time. But the soul, me, my soul conscious state is always available. And through that, God is always available. So I can experience as much pleasure, as much peace, as much dopamine release for as long as I want throughout the day and throughout my life. if that makes sense.
Yeah, and this like relationship of the soul with the body, we can be very creative. Like I, the soul, am a diamond in this body. This body is like a box, and I am a diamond in the box. So this is such a beautiful visualization that we can have to experience that soul conscious stage.
That creativity and the dopamine release.
Yeah.
Or something like I like to see myself as a deity sitting in this temple of the body. And then the whole concept of what kind of food we need to put into, what we need to bring into this temple, or what we should not bring into this temple, that can come into play too. Things like this. Yeah. Is that something that you all are able to relate to? Or what do you think, Veenuben?
I think it's definitely we can relate. How about the others? Can you relate to that aspect? That you are a special deity, you're a special soul, and this body is your temple. Can you relate to that?
We do, but problem is that it's very hard to define that, like think about soul and body is different. We know that, but to feel that is a little bit difficult. Like how you feel that. I mean, you understand, you know that it's different. But to feel your soul, your own soul, it's difficult.
Maybe Veenuben can take you all into an experience.
Yeah, I would love to. I would really love to that.
Maybe right now, Veenuben, you can take them into a few minutes of experience of you being a soul, or we being souls rather than bodies.
Or Kanishtaben, you would like to do the commentary? The meditation? So that I can hear more of you.
Oh, we want to hear more of you.
Yeah.
Bouncing back the ball. So how about we have that meditation at the end of the class?
Sure.
We have little points that we can share, and then we can summarize everything in the meditation.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
So in the next, exercise regularly releases dopamine. And here before we had all this Zoom and slides, and we used to teach Raj Yoga meditation course using posters. And the poster, it's hanging from a stand, and then you have to flip the poster, and the stand is quite big and quite heavy. So each time when I'm having a class, I have to carry that stand, and I come, and people, the students, they'll ask, "Oh, sister, do you want some help?" I said, "No, this is my gym, my dumbbell." So I carry these posters and say, this is how I keep myself fit. So exercising regularly. Kanishtaben, would you have a take on it? How does this exercising helps brain and body and soul?
Yeah, so we all know that when we exercise, we really feel good. Yeah, so that feel good thing comes because of the release of this chemical, dopamine. So it's not about just physical exercise, but what I have experienced that whatever type of exercise I do, walking or biking or whatever, but if my consciousness, the way I am doing that activity, if I am conscious that I, the soul, am the one who is using my physical body to experience this particular activity. So with that consciousness, if I do any activity, any exercise, then I really feel very full, very contented. It's not that I want to do only this exercise or that exercise. It doesn't matter. Even just cleaning my room, for example, That is also good exercise. I'm vacuum cleaning, but with what consciousness I'm doing that exercise? Or gardening, from one place to another, I am taking plants, but with what consciousness I'm moving my body? What consciousness I'm moving my hands? In that awareness, if I am doing all these activities, then I really feel very full, very happy and contented.
No, I agree with you. That's very well said. Like for example, when we're cleaning the house, first of all, we try to, I and you together, right? We try to create the consciousness that this is God's house, and we're cleaning this. God's house is a temple, it's a space, it's a sacred space, and cleaning it so that when others come, they have a great experience, because cleanliness is next to godliness. And so if there's no cleanliness, people won't experience that. And so in other words, exercising or doing anything, any activity, if you will, with that higher consciousness. And of course, again, going back to basics, that I am a soul. See, right now itself, while you're listening, can you just think that you're a soul listening through the ears? You're not the ears, right? You're not the body. Because you think just for a moment, you say my ears, right? You don't say I ears. You ever say I ears? No. Do you say I body? No, you say my body. So you are not the body, you're not the ears. So right now you're listening, you're watching this screen, this lovely PowerPoint that Sister Renu has created. So you are watching. It's not your eyes watching. Eyes are merely windows. Eyes are merely cameras, if you will. And so you're watching the screen through the eyes. You're listening to the words that are spoken through the ears. And if you are using your hands to do whatever, that's again you doing it through your hands. And so just this distinction, understanding it, and then as you begin to go deeper into that understanding, you'll start experiencing it too. Well, so try, if you can, through the day, when you are exercising, I'm a soul exercising my body. I'm not the body. And then why am I doing what I'm doing? So that I can serve mankind in a much better way. So if you're healthy, for example, you'll be able to serve better rather than when you're sick. So holding that consciousness, yeah, I need to exercise, I need to get fresh air, I need to have blood circulation going well in my body so that I can be healthy. My body can be healthy so that I can serve mankind in a much better way.
That was beautifully said. So here, we make sure that we not only use our body to exercise, but also mentally. Both mental exercise and physical exercise are important. And here we use in Raj Yoga meditation one word, that is karma yoga. So karma means action, whatever actions we are doing, but yoga means connection with when we are doing particular activity, where am I connected? Am I connected to the soul that I am, or I am fully, completely focused on that particular activity? So it's important to stay connected to the soul and the Supreme Soul. So when I am connected with the soul and the Supreme Soul, then everything becomes very easy. Whatever exercise I'm doing, I don't even get tired. I can clean the whole house, feeling very energized by the end of that activity. Don't feel tired at all. Because
actually you feel refreshed and rejuvenated.
Exactly. Because I am not alone in that consciousness. I feel as if God is with me. God is my companion. He is with me and he is guiding me at every step, what to do. And, so it's such a beautiful feeling when you are exercising, not just, by yourself, but somebody else is also with you. It's like, group activity.
Yeah. Is this a gym partner? If you have a gym partner.
Yeah, you feel motivated, right? To go every day.
Baba, we call Baba, so the Supreme Soul, we try to create a very beautiful relationship with God, a relationship of a father-child, or parent-child, if you will, a supporter or a confidant or a teacher or a guide, all of these things combined.
And sometimes you can even make Baba as your child and just clean the house, do gardening or whatever with a lot of fun.
Yeah. So we use this word Baba, it just gives a very warm, fuzzy feeling here. God as my father. Back to you, Vinuben. Love to hear from you.
Okay, I didn't realize I was sharing while I was muted. For me, when I go for walks in the morning, I take minimum 30 minutes, maximum, of course, then sometimes 45 minutes, sometimes an hour. When I go for a walk, I am sometimes I'm listening to some classes or spiritual songs, or just sometimes just being in silence, contemplating. And while I'm walking, I always tell Papa, "Come hold my hands and let's walk together. Let's take a walk together," like how Kanishka Ben was sharing. God being your companion, and you're taking God for a walk. And the beautiful thing is, which I realized much later, is that whomever I pass, when I'm walking, I'm not really, I am looking everywhere, to cross, but I'm not sort of focused on what's happening, like looking here, looking there. I'm in my own stage, in my own feelings, but I'm aware of my surroundings just enough to, walk, be safe and crossing. And then I'm just walking in Hindi we call apni dhun mein, in your own tune. I'm walking, I'm enjoying that silence. But people around me who are also taking their dogs for a walk, or they are jogging, or they are doing their yoga exercises there, everybody turn and look, and everybody, they would smile and they would just watch. And before I used to think, why are they staring at me? Is it because I'm wearing a white sari? Who's this lady in white sari going for a morning walk? She's dressed in full white. I think later I just felt that when you are with Baba, when your consciousness are connected with God, you are also vibrating God's energy. And whoever around you, it doesn't matter who they are, neighbors or strangers, anybody, because you are in that zone with them, they will feel your vibration. They will feel even from a distance. But you are not consciously wanting to affect anybody. You are in your own tune. You are enjoying your own space with Baba. But how even the walking can become service, and you don't even know you're doing it. That is how, when God says, I'm sure a lot of you know this word, man manabhav, connect your mind to me. And connect your mind to me means mind is where feelings are created. Feel me from your heart, not from your head. Then the relationship takes a whole different level. And the vibrations, it's like almost you don't even realize you're doing, but Baba is channeling his energy through you. You become transparent for Baba to serve people around you even without you knowing. That's why, when Kanishka Ben said about karma yoga, we are absolutely doing our activities. We are not just sitting still and not doing anything and just sitting and meditating. We are doing absolutely everything. But then when the mind is connected with God, you're not even seeing time. You are doing everything. Everything is happening perfectly. And you are not even fussing about, I have to do this or this or this. You are absolutely doing everything. But then the way you are doing, it is creating such a beautiful um, atmosphere energy, aura, while you are doing, people around you also are feeling blessed. People around you also are feeling that vibe. That is how, when you do everything in God's company, even the chores that you do becomes service. So that is my experience.
Beautiful.
That was beautiful.
So let's see. Next slide. Okay. So this is it's a positive way, good way of distracting the self, not in a negative sense. Sometimes the urge comes to fall back into that habit that we've got accustomed to for many years. So whenever that urge comes, I have two options: to fall into it, to repeat the same history, or, okay, I want to do something else. I can divert my attention so that I'm not falling back into that urge. So that is why, we put here some examples, because these are common examples that people do. Walking the dog, if you have a dog, or you can go for a walk. Chatting with friends at that time, the fact that the urge is coming, again, some boredom is there, or because when you're not doing something, boredom becomes easy, arises. So then get yourself engaged in a task, or cleaning the house, is how Kanishka Ben shared. So just different activities to fill up the time, to take the mind off, and then eventually the urge subsides. And the more you keep doing whenever the urge comes, eventually the frequency of the urge is going to reduce over time. And one fine day you would see you no longer have a interest on it anymore. The urge will not even come. So why is that, Shwetangpai? Why does this happen?
Well, it's creating new habits, basically. From a neuroscience point of view, we know that neural pathways exist within our brain, and these neural pathways help us think thoughts, and these thoughts, if you will, the thoughts really are not in the brain, but the transfer of information, if you will, from the brain to the rest of the body for actions to be performed. These neural pathways are there in the brain. When we do a particular action again and again and again, then many different neurons come together. The neurons that are needed for that action come together, and they kind of fire together. And when they fire together many, many times, then there is this saying: the neurons that fire together wire together. So they kind of become partners in crime, if you will. Neurons keep getting fired, they keep coming together in that whole activity, and that's truly how a habit is created. So, for example, if you have an urge for that addictive behavior and you act out, then once, second time, third time, fourth time, so the neural pathways become stronger. Those friends become stronger friends, if you will. And so over time, it becomes more and more difficult, if you will, for the habit to be broken. And so here, what Vinubend is presenting is to with such simple ways, if you will, to break that habit. So say if there's an urge, instead of acting out on that urge into that addiction, then we create new neural pathways, in a way, almost like a new path in the woods. You'll have sometimes pathways where a lot of people have walked, and so the ground is kind of barren, if you will. There are no plants and so on and so forth, or no grass. And there could be other pathways which have a lot more grass if people haven't trodden on that. And so if we want people to take the other path, then we have to somehow close this or somehow make that more, the other one more attractive, and people will start walking on that, and that path will look more trodden. So here too, we have to now channelize our energy towards the new pathways. So these kind of things will then allow us to make this kind of a neural pathway stronger, and that the old neural pathway, which would lead us to the addictive behavior, less strong, if you will. Yeah, and eventually, as Vinuben is mentioning, we'll be able to free ourselves of that addictive behavior.
Yeah, and I think we had talked about the concept of neuroplasticity also, that we have the power to change not only our the structure, but also function of the nervous system, entire nervous system. So when we change the way we think, with the way we feel, our experiences, then all these neural connections can be changed. So that's the good news.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's good news. That's possible. That's very much possible.
But the old ones are still existing, right?
But you see, if you don't walk on that, eventually a lot of grass will be grown. It will be overgrown with shrubs as well.
Will not be visible.
And then people won't walk on that. It's creating new grooves, new pathways in your mind, you know. And the old one begin to, what happens is, say if you have friends, you haven't met them for what, 20 years, 30 years, then everyone starts going their ways. You're no longer really friends. You create new friends, and then you meet them over dinner, over weekends, and so on and so forth. And then in your mind, who comes? The friend that you had who was very close to you 20 years back, or the friends that you have now? Yeah. So that's how new neural pathways get created.
Okay, can I say something?
Please.
Very important regarding this. So what I have learned is that to change like new way of thinking or new habits. So what I wrote first, like whatever the negative or the present, she's like, okay, I get scared of doing this, or anything. And then the next sentence is, I make it positive in the present tense, that okay, I am walking in the woods. So say I'm scared of walking in the woods, and then I would say, okay, I am walking in the woods and enjoying myself. So what happens is, when I do this exercise, I write down all the fears or negatives I have, and then at the same time, I make a positive one. And then what happens, the negatives fade away and the positives stay. Like you said, the old one will, fade away and the new ones will stay. So it's like the same what you told. So, right, it's on the same line. Just wanted to share this. Thank
You
you
very much for sharing. I appreciate that. In a simple example, I can tell you, like say you were living in a certain part of a town for many years, and now you've moved your house, maybe bought a new house, maybe moved from an apartment to a bigger house, or so on and so forth. And then you go to work. Yeah, and maybe the old house was on the east side, exit 62 or whatever, and the new house is on exit 84. So now you might, if you are driving back home from work, and you are a little distracted because you're talking to your friend or talking to somebody on the phone, you might accidentally take the wrong exit and start going back towards your old house. So this will happen. Initially it happens more frequently, but over time, then it becomes more natural for you to go to the new house. The old house or the old roads leading to your old house begin to fade away. But for that, there is an initial period of conscious awareness. As soon as you leave your work, as you're driving back home, you've got to be careful, you've got to be aware, you've got to be present. When you say to yourself, hey, you know what, I got to take the 84 exit, not the 64 exit, or whatever that is. And you do that many, many times, and then that becomes the new normal for you, the new natural state for you. So right now, maybe the natural state is that addictive behavior. As you change your behavior, your non-addictive behavior will become your new normal.
True. Thank you.
My pleasure. Go ahead, Vinuben. I'm sure you have many more beautiful things. Can't wait to listen to others, other points.
Well, one way I distract myself from boredom or different urges is I call somebody, and there are a lot of souls who, you know, definitely everybody loves it when you call just to say hello to them, and you know, not calling with the intention of wanting something or requesting something, but just purely calling and just saying hello and how are you doing. And so when I do that, you know, the other side, that soul feels very happy and feel very grateful that they are remembered, and then we just chat a little bit and see how everybody's doing, especially souls that I've not seen for a long time, just to call and say, oh, I remembered you today and remembered you right now, so wanted to say hello to you. And when we start talking, it's like, you know, when the soul is happy, the soul is thinking well and feeling good about you, and that is blessing. And when I receive that blessing, then I feel good. I feel happy. I feel, yes, I'm glad I did that call. And that automatically takes me away from, oh, what was I struggling, you know, a minute ago? It's like it takes your mind off. So it's like whenever you have any urge, or just not even you do this only when you're having the urge, but just you can have a goal every day, that today how I can serve others, today what I can do for others. If every day you can just do one service, if there is just one way service that you can serve, you know, for others, the blessings that you get in return makes you feel much happy and a lot of gratitude. And these are step by step. It's like also building your self-respect. It is also you begin to value yourself, not because, oh, you know, I made somebody feel better, but the fact that the more you start talking and sharing with them, your own specialty will emerge, how you can help. And you'll be very surprised to see, wow, I never knew I can be very compassionate. I never knew I can have a lot of patience. Until when you come into contact with people, you will never know what treasure you hold within you. So, like I said, this is a healthy form of distracting. It's actually discovering yourself when you come into interaction with people. So let's go to the next point. Accountable person. Having an accountable person in your life, someone who I respect and is willing to tell me the truth no matter what, and ask them to protect the internet with password protection so certain sites can't be accessed. Now, you need to have a lot of courage to be able to do this. When sometimes when you know quite well that sometimes you can become vulnerable and there can be chances where you would again fall back to that habit, then allow someone to have control over it. And it's not like I'm allowing somebody to take over my life or controlling me. No. In fact, I am using someone as a tool to help me, to motivate me to progress. So that is a different feeling. I'm not a victim feeling, not allowing somebody to dominate me, but I'm actually willingly opening my heart, letting go of my ego, and I'm allowing them to motivate me, for me to progress. Because it's either I self motivate, but if I feel I can't, then let me allow somebody to motivate me. And definitely, we will choose this person whom we really trust, not any random person, whom we really trust. And you know, this person has your best interest in their mind. They're not going to, you know, overtake you or dominate you or make you a victim or take advantage. No, you truly know this person means well. So this is what we mean having an accountable person. Any take on this?
No, actually, that's very well said. Very well said. I liked how you said that when you're open, when we open our hearts, in a way, when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, if you will, we help others as well around us. And sometimes we try to show that we're too perfect. That's really not the case. For that we begin to carry a mask over our faces. We go around with these masks that we keep changing every now and then. There's this external facade, of all these, attractive things that we want to show to the world. We never want to show our weaknesses, but of course, with a person who is trustworthy, when we're ready to be vulnerable, that helps break down our ego, which is also a very important factor in the creation and growth of these addictions. But also I feel that helps in healing the other person as well. When people around us realize that we are not perfect, they become more comfortable with their imperfections too, and then it gives them the opportunity to accept their imperfections and to work on them, rather than try to push back on that, or trying to justify their imperfections, trying to prove themselves perfect. So beautiful. I really like what you shared.
Yeah, one of the practices that we do in Brahma Kumaris is that we write a letter to God. Whatever mistake we commit, or whatever we want to really talk about, we write in that letter. That's what the practice that I do every night before I go to bed, so that when I sleep, then I am kind of very light. I don't carry burden in my head that I did this, I did that. So that way, if I am accountable, that yes, I have to write to God that this is what I did. So I feel that the next day when we have this spiritual passage that we listen to every morning, I feel that God is actually telling me, guiding
Responding
me,
to that.
responding to whatever I wrote. So that's such a beautiful feeling that I feel at that moment, and I really feel close. I feel as if, yes, God is listening to me. So
that's why it is most important to have a very beautiful living relationship with God. Because who can be more trustworthy than God? Who can really hold our secrets?
Right. God is not going to go and tell everyone that this is the mistake that you did. It's very safe.
Because people around us can sometimes hold us ransom to our things that we have shared and use it all against us, but God will never do it. Yeah, so what I like about what Vinuben has shared is very practical, to find an accountable person. And who can be most accountable person on earth, most responsible, most trustworthy? God himself.
So we're coming to our final point today. Sattvic. You must have heard about Sattvic food. Now we're going one step further, Sattvic company and Sattvic materials. So what it means, company that uplifts me. So making sure I don't have company who's going to encourage me to fall back into that addiction. Food with high quality vibrations, very, very important. I always like to emphasize the fact when you make your food, you know what's energy that's going in. When you eat outside, the person who's cooking the food, they're actually cooking for profit. Their mindset is money. Their mindset is to earn. The more they cook well, more customers, more income, more profit. So then that is what is running in their mind. That's the vibration they're adding to the food. Now, if I'm also eating that food, I'm picking up that vibration. So then I could also become materialistic. So, very, very important, the food that you cook and you eat should be high quality vibrations, because food we're consuming every day. So, one side we're trying to work on a habit we want to give up, or we want to live better without it. And another side, I'm inputting more and more pressure on the soul. So it's not gonna make my journey anywhere easy. So that's why food with high quality vibrations. And third, materials that I read, watch, or listen should motivate me to progress, not remind me of that addiction. Because then, if you see, example, certain movies, certain series that you watch, it can sometimes remind you of that, because a lot of these entertainment that are created is to keep people absorbed, to keep people hang on to it. It's like a form of drug, right? And when I get really tuned in into it, what happens is my feelings will emerge. Sometimes how when we watch something, we get so involved emotionally, everything. Sometimes we can have tears, we can get angry, we can get upset, we can get very happy. So that's like these entertainments are provoking these emotions from within me. And certain news that we would read, certain things that we would hear, provokes certain emotions, a certain state of mind within me. So be aware, all of this, whatever I am exposing myself to, let it be healthy. Again, let it help me to move forward, not again fall back into the same pool. So this is what I meant by Sattvic company, food, materials.
Looks like we are on the fast track. We are in number 6 straight talking to you guys. Sattvic company, number 6.
Yes, so anyone want to share, add? This is the end, basically. So I'm going to stop the share. So those were 6 points that came up in the discussion, and we felt it's personally in our lives also we've practiced it and we've seen the results. So it is coming out of experience. What we shared here. Is there any questions anyone have? Anyone wants to share? We're towards the time crunch now, so anybody?
Yes, I would like to. Mayuri Modi, last 3 weeks has been so much inspiring and learning a lot from all 3 of you. People take notes, and I do take notes, but it's never enough. I like to listen to you guys again and again and again for me to change my behaviors or to guide somebody to change their behaviors. So in the first lecture, I did ask, are we taping this? And I'm going to ask again, are you still taping this? And is it possible for us to get all the 3 weeks videos so we can understand and change ourselves more?
So all the classes that we had, and including this as well, it's being live streamed in YouTube. So if once this session is over, the video will remain in YouTube. If you go under Los Angeles Brahma Kumaris, you would definitely be able to see all the 3 videos. Or if you want, I would send the YouTube links to JC Ben in the email, and she can email all of you, all the 3 links. I'll put it in the email and I'll send it to you.
Thank you. Thank you. I did not know that. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Ben, for this Sattvic company, like if you tell the kids, like supposing a friend of your kid, he or her is you may feel that, he or she is not good. And if you ask the kid that, don't hang out with that kid because I feel, he's not going to motivate you or, inspire you, or, Sattvic company is, you are feeling Sattvic company, but you may put it as, not good company, no motivation. So they may come back to you saying, you're trying to discriminate, you're trying to, you're being racist, you're being this and that. How do we deal with that?
Good question. So, shall we give it to Shwetangbai or Kanishtaben first? Go ahead and share first.
Yeah, sure. Before I answer that, I just wanted to commend Mayuri Modi ji for your humility, in wanting to learn and wanting to change. And I just want to say there's a beautiful, quote by Rumi, that when the student is ready, the teacher arrives. Yeah, so your desire to learn will help you transform to a level you can only imagine. So congratulations on your
Thank you.
desire. Yeah,
You
and
said it right. You said it right.
I think Vinuben has been so much motivational for me. I did her 6-week course, and then I recommended Jashmi Ben to get Minuben for us to learn all these things. And I'm so glad that you can put some positive effects on our life. Thank you.
Wonderful.
And then there is the second part to it, actually, that when the student is truly ready, then the teacher disappears. So what it means that then you will be on the stage and you will be guiding everyone.
Yeah, you don't need a teacher then. And
Yeah.
actually that is more for the teacher. The teacher has to make himself disappear
Yeah.
so the student can grow. So that's awesome. And to respond to the question, see, what happens is right from, in other words, the book has to start from us. Let me rephrase myself. Let me give me a moment to really explain this. And while it might be an out of a box kind of an answer, but I invite you to or inspire you to think about it a little bit more. There was somebody at work who would always want, would come to me and say, hey, you teach meditation. I want to teach my kids meditation. Can I bring them to you? I said, but why don't you learn meditation? I said, no, I'm not interested in it. And so, but why do you want to teach your kids? Because they are getting so ill-behaved. And I said, but first, you have to change. If you are not well-behaved, you won't be able to help your children in becoming well-behaved. So you got to do it first. Children always follow their parents or always follow their elders. And so what I mean to say here is that if we start creating the right company for ourselves, and we bring about all the necessary changes that we need to bring about in our lives, then automatically there will be mirroring of our behavior by our kids. Then what I mean to say is that then the kids won't have to be told, do this or do that, or don't do that. Automatically they will sense it. They will know what is the right thing to do. And so what I invite you to do, or invite everyone to do, is check whose company you keep, what kind of Sattvic company you have. Yeah, is your company truly Sattvic? And what is the most Sattvic company on this planet Earth? Yeah, is connection with God, keeping God as my companion. So start bringing that, start making that change, if you will. Yeah, and then see how it's not going to be overnight process, but over time, everyone in your family will begin to take on what you're doing, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
I think just to add to what Shwetangbai shared, we've already established the fact that we attract like-minded people based on our vibration. And if you see children, 3/4 of the day, or probably a bigger chunk of their life and of their day, they are spending at home, and they are with us. And so we actually have a dominating effect on them more than anyone else outside, that they're spending some time and they're still coming back home. And so if the dominating effect at home is very positive and very warm and very accommodating and understanding, so that's the vibration they're picking up from me. And the more and more they pick up that vibration, they become that. And then they go out. They are vibrating that same vibration with the same frequency. So then when they go out, they go into their social circle, they will also invite the same vibration people in their lives. So you see how it's a cascade of reaction. It's how I am influencing them to become something. When they become something, then they go out, they are influencing their environment to who they are. So that is a safety net. That's actually a safety net, because if I am not creating the right vibration at home, then whatever is the vibration at home, they are being formed that way. They go out, they're going to attract the same type. So I cannot tell somebody to attract something in the external environment when the internal environment, when that home environment is almost similar. So this is actually a protection zone for you. At home with your kids, create this protection, and that's how they will grow with. And this
I have a humorous story here, of my own life. And I had a very beautiful relationship with my parents, and both of them have passed away. But I remember for many, many years, my dad didn't allow television in our house. I think I was in 9th grade when we first had television. He just refused to have television. And when television came, all of us started getting hooked onto television because we started enjoying. We'd never seen it. And so I remember my dad and mom would be, go, your TV is not good for you, go and read. And then they would switch on the TV and start watching. And I would like, Dad, that's not fair. You tell me not to watch TV and you're watching TV. So, well, we are old enough that now we can do it. You have to study. But what I'm trying to say is that from the child's point of view, or from anyone else's point of view, they all mirror our changes. And if we don't make the changes, then they won't be able to make the changes. They won't be empowered enough. And that's why I love about Raj Yoga. It puts the ball back in your lap. It puts the whole onus back onto you. That when you change, the world changes.
I have one little dilemma that at times there are, one of the spouses, one of the parents do it and not the other parent. So how do you have this situation take?
I repeat, when you change, the world changes.
Right. So then it has to go through even a longer process. That you do it, then your spouse does it, and then your kid does it. Sometimes half the goes in there.
I know. I totally agree. It's not an overnight process. We have, it's like if the house is too dirty, it has not been cleaned for years and years and years, it takes much longer time to clean it up. Yeah, so our inner self has been messed up for too long, and it's going to take time to fix it. It's going to take time to clean it up, to get rid of all the rubbish, the garbage that we have accumulated over time. So don't get disheartened. It's definitely not going to be an overnight process. It's going to take time, but I promise you, it's super rewarding. as you start making a little bit of changes, one step at a time. One of the things that I've also seen is, like, for example, when you have a house or a room which you haven't, or even a closet that you haven't cleaned up for a long period of time, then when you start doing it, then you say, oh, wow, I found my ring. Oh, my wedding ring. I've been searching for it for so long. Oh, I found that. You find beautiful treasures that you have lost. And similarly, when you start your inner cleaning, then you discover the treasures, the true treasures that you hold within yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question, in our family, like I am totally changing, getting more spiritual, getting more positive, doing only spiritual things and learning a lot at a different level. And I really would love, my companion, my husband to do that, but I am unable to motivate, even though I'm doing everything, but the other person is just getting repelled. So I don't know how that change can occur in the house. Any tips for that?
And let Vinu-Ben answer before I answer, before Kanisha answers. Love to hear from Vinu-Ben.
When we talk about spiritual efforts, we are actually talking about our progress. Even though we do have a beautiful desire that what I'm experiencing, my family members should also experience. But it's something that I deeply need to remind myself, we may or may not share the same journey. That person may not share the same path. Maybe later they might, or they may just never. But in this journey, this path is helping me. This practice is helping me, making me to progress and become a better person, which is great, which is good enough. Because now the same attitude that my spouse still has before I get cooked up, but now doesn't bother me as much. So I am changing, my understanding is changing, my tolerance level and my patience level is increasing because of what I'm practicing. And now coming to this phase and this point in my life where I feel that so much has changed within me. Now the other soul can react in two ways. One, they can push my button further just to see if my feelings are authentic or not, just to see if the way I'm speaking and behaving is authentic or not, or I'm just putting a face. Or two, they can appreciate and they can feel inspired. So two reactions are possible, but I will never be able to enforce a particular reaction from them. And each of us, the penny will drop at different time, and we will just have to accept that fact that we are at a different race. Our starting point of the race is different. My race have started. I am going. His race maybe will start later. But you know what? I'm not going to sit and wait and see whether he's changing. But I'm doing this because it makes me feel whole, makes me feel very safe and allowing me to progress. Good enough. Be in your path, stay clear to your conscience, be very accommodating and compassionate with everyone. Move on, go on, go on. When their path is about to start, when their race is about to start, when the change is about to start, it will happen.
Thank you.
I
But
call it this.
it can be amazing when the both people are on the same frequency and same eating habits, same company. Because I'm all day in the spirituality, getting up at 2:30, Amrit Vela, doing all, everything, and I'm just so happy and feel fulfilled. But it's like but you made it clear that that's okay. I just have to accept. And thank you.
That makes choice. I call spirituality is a singular journey. And then other people may get affected, not affected. We have attachment is not there. If it happens, it's their bonus points rather than.
No, but the reason I'm saying is then you're eating the same sattvic food, you're watching the same things on the TV, or one person is totally watching the, the negative and killings and action, and the other person doesn't want to. So that means I'm getting away from my partner because I'm sitting in my other room and I'm watching my Zoom.
Very true.
So that is what I meant, ki life could be heaven if,
That's true. But that's the fact. What can you do?
I think that Vinu-Ben has said very beautifully. I just want to say that I congratulate you for your efforts, and I totally feel what you're feeling, that we all want our loved ones to also start doing what is right. But I want to assure you that we are all actually on a spiritual journey. In a way, it seems as if the others have not yet started, but really speaking, they are also on their spiritual journey, and they are probably not where we want them to be, but they will get there too. So I want you to go from here with this reassurance, in a way, a promise from the universe, if you will, from God, that each one eventually has to reach their highest stage. Eventually, each one has to transform. And it's just a matter of time. Yeah? And sometimes we lose patience. We sometimes get agitated. And in a way, the more patience we lose, the more agitated we get. We actually hinder their reaching the stage where we want them to stay. It actually becomes counterproductive. And then Vinu-Ben was saying about compassion. Many times what happens is we also, as we go on our spiritual journey, we are sometimes a little less sensitive to the needs of others. And so sometimes it happens. I'm sure it's not happening there, but sometimes. But maybe taking two steps ahead and trying to be sensitive to the needs of others. Sometimes that can help. But I promise you, it's not my promise, it's the universe's promise, that everyone will get there. It's just a matter of time. So hold on to your patience if you can. It will happen. All right? It will
One of
happen.
the practices that we do here in Brahma Kumaris is sending good wishes and have pure feelings for every soul, irrespective of wherever that soul is.
That's right. Thank you.
So keep up the good work. Truly congratulate you for your efforts.
Thank you.
Sister, I just wanted to add that whatever you're doing, the good sattvic things that you're doing, listening to lectures, doing all your meditation and so on, that does rub off on your spouse. It definitely does. You may think it's not, but it does. So that's always there when one person is following this path. I mean, I'm very fortunate. My husband and I have always studied together. That's how we met, with our school books. So we've always studied together. And then with the BK, he used to come to all the classes, and then he said, well, it was all women. So then he stopped coming. And I was glad for that, because I wanted to be with the women. But after, I always got toli, and Sister Geeta, Priya, and even Sister Vinu used to give me 2 tolis. And my husband got the toli and he got the lecture when I came home every single time. So he knows all about Brahma Kumari. He does. So everything that I'm studying, I share with him. What he studies, he shares with me. So it does rub off. There's no.
I agree with you. Thank you for sharing that.
And then if the men want to watch the TV that they do, which they do, or sports, whatever it is, I think it's more peaceable for us, for me, many of us, not to fight with it. Let it be. It's what it is.
So I'll just give you one example.
Yourself. Stay peaceful in yourself.
Yeah, example, like, that's okay. I said, okay, it's eating is the time we are together. So what happened, like last night, he started watching, because when I'm eating, I don't want to watch anything. I just want to have positive vibrations and not talk, or just have relaxing music or nothing. But then when they put all the bad stuff on the TV and eat, and then I just got up from there, and because I don't want to eat while listening. So I'm just saying that like kind of makes you, but anyway, now I know.
Just
Thank
quickly
you
want
so
to
much.
say one thing. This is beautiful. I want to congratulate that what you said. Who was that? Yeah,
Shaila.
Shaila
Rush.
Ben. Yeah,
Sorry.
that about it does rub off. I can give you a small example. Kanisha started doing these smoothies and juices and kale and this chard and horrible taste. So initially I was repelled by it, but now I enjoy it. It's taken what couple of years for me to develop that taste, but it has rubbed off. Now I am much more healthy in my diet
It
than
does.
earlier. So it is somewhere rubbing off. That's all I want to say. Don't feel dejected. Don't feel frustrated. It is happening. The
Keep
milk is
doing what
yeah.
you're doing. Just keep
Milk is
doing.
about to boil. Just round the corner. The change is just round the corner.
Or you never know, the change is quietly happening within him. Men don't always show what's happening.
No.
I am very confident and comfortable to say that the change is happening from within.
So
Just
I
observe.
count. Yeah.
You
I
are
want
also
to mention one thing. I'm counting my blessings that at least he's not stopping me. So I'm so grateful that I can do whatever I want. So that's a very big thing. I have a gratitude for that.
Yeah, but Shaila, not many people are lucky like you too, though, because a
It
lot of
takes
times.
Jay Ben, it looks like luck. It takes a lot of hard work.
No, it does.
I assure you that. a
No,
lot of hard work.
But you know what I
But
want
it's
to
how
mention?
you see it. It's always how you see it.
Correct. I'm exactly, but I've seen a lot of people that because I take a lot of classes and I hear a lot of different things from different people, and they don't seem to be. They are also working very hard. They're thinking and they're also letting go, keeping all these virtues and everything. But it also depends upon the karmic account of the other person too.
Of
If
course.
they flatly say they don't come and they don't share, they don't want to listen, don't tell me. I've heard those things that people don't like here. He used to come and now he wants to still learn. That attitude of learning comes from inside. And if
Yes.
they go off completely, like some people, if Kanis come and will make the juice, I don't make it for me. I told you that can happen before it has a chance to rub off. If they are shut off, this can happen. So it totally depends upon different kind of people. At the same time, you are capitalizing on what your husband is doing pretty well. So that's very commendable.
That's also a feminist conversation. We have a lot of problems.
Have an opportunity to do that. See,
yeah.
so
Can I just add one more thing?
Spiritual conversation is another issue.
I know. Can I just
happy to have the feminist conversation with you, Jay Ben.
Ella, can I just add one thing?
I'm very happy to have it.
Towards the end.
I just want to say one thing here is that as people said that we are on a different journeys, but sometimes people are not ready. And I think one should not impose our ideas on the other people. That will repel them and they will go more backwards. But if you just do quietly whatever you're doing and they're just observing you, they would get attracted to whatever you're doing.
Very true. Very true.
Very true.
Let it be.
Vibrations will do the talking. Yeah.
Vibration is yours.
Yeah, I think I just repelled him.
Now what we are going to do is we are going to learn how to create such beautiful vibrations that it's going to create miracles wherever you go. So let's now tune in into how to create that vibration.
Okay, sounds good.
You can see Kanishta Ben is already in the meditative state, She's smiling. And Kanishta Ben, would you like to take us on into your meditative ride?
Sweet. Yeah, sure.
Yes.
You all are together.
So let me just mute everyone. And one moment. Okay. Let's unmute. So Kanishta Ben, you can unmute and you can share. And I'm going to put the Shiv Baba slide on the screen. Okay. Now you can lead us into meditation.
So in this meditation, let's go within and see yourself in your true form, a being of light. Full, complete, whole. You have everything that you need to survive. Not just to survive, but to feel full and contented to such an extent that you can even share with others. So see yourself getting up early in the morning with this powerful awareness that I am a soul, a being of light, a child of the Supreme. With this powerful awareness, you start your day. Every activity that you are doing, you are aware that you are a soul performing that activity. And you are also aware that your body is like a temple and you are a deity in this temple. So you have a lot of respect for yourself, the deity within. So you're feeding this deity pure food in the form of pure thoughts. You're very careful about the company that you keep. You are in the pure company of the divine. So see yourself in this elevated form, generating pure energy at every step and creating a very pure, positive atmosphere. And you feel full, happy, contented as you continue your journey in this elevated awareness. Oh,